presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. Elevation, protocol, rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. This is the elevation, protocol, rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. This is the elevation, protocol, rising above the chaos, taking control. My values not negotiable, my worth is my law. Surrounding myself with excellence, that's what I saw. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness, demanding excellence. No time for complacence. Act right or act out. The choice is always clear. My presence is my power. My standards draw the line here. Bridges to greatness, demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls, I'm building bridges to greatness. Demanding excellence, no time for complacence. Act right or act out, the choice is always clear. My presence is my power, my standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. My standards draw the line here. I'm not building walls.
All right, how you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host Xander, where we're talking about this, that, and everything in between. Trying something new here for Steven. I don't know how well this is going to work tonight, but he's like, give me the old backdrop from time to time. I'm like, I don't know. Let's see what we can do. I got the backdrop. I don't know how well it's going to work for us tonight, but we're going to try to see what we can do about it. So, oh my goodness, hold on. Let's do this. So parts of it seem to be showing out through the background. I would need a green screen. I would need a green screen to get rid of, because it seems like certain parts of it's kind of like showing through. I would need a green screen in order to make sure that the whole thing looks the way it's supposed to look. I can pick one up from Temu shortly. Well, not shortly. It takes a while because they're shipping shit in from China. China ain't doing too well right now. So um, either way, I'm glad you liked it. I gave it the best swing that I could. um, it's just that X, that one X right there, that just seems to be, you know, for some reason ruining. Oh, well, if I lean like this, it kind of blocks it. So if I just stay like this the whole show, nobody will notice. But I think it's the glare from the light that reflects off of the X, and that's why it seeps through the thing. But if I stay like this the whole night, the majority of it isn't seen. Either way, I did the best I could in short notice because I just actually started trying to piece this together right before the show. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Steven wanted at least once a week for me to make this work for him. So I had to knock it out. I had to knock it out. So thank you guys for coming to this and that. While we go live 7 nights a week, we do not let the sun rise without going live, but we don't always start on time. But we do ask you guys to like and subscribe, and then also hit those notification buttons, mash the reaction buttons throughout the show, showing support for the show so that the algorithm can wake up and feed us to more people. And then take the opportunity to go dig into the membership. I know I keep telling you guys that there's a lot of stuff that's about to be added into the membership, but as I get the list of shows that we're covering for the month of May, I wanted to make sure, oh yeah, because this is the last Tuesday of the month. This coming Tuesday should be a different rotation strategy for May and June. So I'll go ahead and have that set up for tonight as well. I got Monday show up there, Wednesday show up there. I've got the next 2 Wednesdays and the next 3 Sundays up there. So I'm working everything out. I'm doing it in sections. First, get all the shows listed, get the scripts done for the next week, then put up some stuff for the membership for the next month, and then start editing some videos so that by the time I get to Saturday, that everything is kind of starting to run smoothly. So we're going to be seeing it somewhat in that particular order. I don't have specific days tagged for anything because, like I told you guys before, you gotta try to find 5 things that you can do out of the day into this, gotta work. That's like 3 things right there. The main thing is to get the priority show set up. The secondary thing is to get the membership set up with more information in it, and then the tertiary thing is to catch up on editing the videos. So as I work through those throughout the next week and a half, 2 weeks, you'll start seeing a lot more things in there that will benefit you guys. All of the walkthroughs from April that I told you guys about, because walkthroughs are not that difficult to make and post. It's that I ran out of shows and I don't want to not have shows. So I want to go ahead and fill up the month of May, potentially creep into the month of June. And then we're going to see what's going on. Now, we are live 7 nights a week, and with that, we have different topics every week. So Sunday tonight, we do questions and comments from the fans. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, business and politics. This Monday, we're going to be talking about the assassination attempts, how people are trying to spin it as political, geopolitical conflict, but we have some detailed information that kind of really tells the truth that what we're doing in America really doesn't have anything to do with what's going to happen over there in the Strait. But because it's happening during what's going on in the Strait, media can spin it a different way. So I want to make sure that I provide some clarification for that. Then there was some rumors about how Russia and China are responding to the closure of the Strait. And I'm going to be covering that as well to give you guys an insight, because I mean, we still get products from China, how that's going to negatively impact our ability to make, save, and invest money, and overwhelming force being sent over to the overseas lines until we work this situation out. We recognize that that also will have impacts on us, because more manpower, shipping more equipment, the cost of fuel is going to continue to rise. So we're going to start seeing a lot of things that we don't like, in addition to, yeah, exactly. I'm going to cover that. I'm going to cover that on Tuesday. What's the story behind the shootings? But it's a local scenario. It's not the American that did it got nothing to do with the non-American conflict. That's the short story of it. Okay. Um, and then the long story of it, I'm going to give it to you tomorrow on Monday night. So make sure that you come by for Monday night show. Tonight's going to be more of the young and the restless as the world turns, murder she wrote kind of stories. We got some pretty juicy ones tonight, so I think you guys are going to enjoy it. Typically, after we do what we do on Mondays, Tuesdays, we give you guys information about how to make, save, and invest money, budget money, and change the way you think about money. So Tuesday, we're going to be doing a dividend rotation strategy for May and June. Then we have, Wednesday, where we have different countries around the world that are set up. And right now, I do believe we have like Nicaragua and Guatemala that are up there, that are going to be the next two that we're going to be talking about, because we give you guys places that you can potentially visit, invest, and potentially move there and live on long-term or permanent basis. And from there, the we have the clear observation of Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays, self-development, personal improvement, you know what I mean? Then we have your relationship topics, the socialization, negotiations, building your brand, and then leaning into your professional life, where we discuss how to work on it. And that's what I told you guys I was going to be talking about next. Is we already talked about the negotiating raises, but I believe that we also need to move into, because it's raises, promotions, that we've already covered. Retirement packages we haven't really covered, but we did mention that, you could talk about those things. Then we go from there to the severance packages, and that's a show that I told you that I was going to be throwing into one of the shows coming soon, which probably will be in next week's show, talking about negotiating your retirement packages or your severance packages, where they're kind of one and the same depending on how you see it when you're leaving your jobs. And that's when we start talking to you guys about your 20-year plan, where your 20 or 30-year plan, where you guys figure out where you want to stop, because that's kind of the most important part. What are you aiming for? And reverse engineer that to what you got to do today to get to where you want to be at. He said, "Is that a rubber band?" Well, it is a rubber band in my beard, but it is not like a training bra. That would be. I'm surprised that this is the first time that you've noticed it, Michael. Because I mean, it's either on my beard or on my finger every night. Which, wildly enough, you're gonna have to go back and look at like 5 or 6 shows. Like, oh, bitch, that rubber band is always in the show somewhere, because it's either on my pinky finger or it's on my beard. It's been that way for a month or so. Especially when we were talking about signet rings and everything like that on the show. What, yesterday, day before yesterday? Like, I'm surprised that you didn't. Like, oh, that's a very nifty signet ring you got there, kind of situation. But I guess this is the first time you're paying attention to it, since the background isn't, what we wanted it to be. I'm glad that Steven likes the background, but I kind of need like a big green screen in the background. That way the green screen looks like a real green screen. So it's kind of like 3 dimensional. Because as we are hitting high definition today, so proud of that. 1080p. So I want to make sure that you guys get a chance to enjoy the show, visually enjoy the show, and we shouldn't see any lag today. We shouldn't see any delays. So that's good. No drop frames. So improvements all the way around. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm really starting to enjoy the new equipment that we have, especially the massive spotlight. He said there must have been an earthquake in Florida. The bookcase looks like it's about to fall over. Nope. Nope. That's actually the way it's supposed to look. It is actually horizontal. uh, can you make a show next month about identity theft protections and evaluate what one is the best one? I'm looking into different tiers of LifeLock, and AAA also researching others. And let me see what I can do for next week. And that's one of the reasons why I don't book the whole month, because relevant information like that, that's actually a very good topic. Relevant information like that, I want to get up to date information and kind of put it in immediately or as soon as possible. I don't want it to linger for over a month and then it's no longer a relevant topic. So give me, because this week is already booked up. Give me over the next couple days. I will put that in for sometime next week, because I don't believe our Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is set up next week. And if it is, then I'll just put it in for next week, Tuesday. That way we can cover that recently while you're looking at it. That's actually a good topic to cover, because as far as investments are concerned, when you're concerned about cybersecurity, when you're concerned about personal security, identity theft protection, investing in the companies that develop that actually puts your money where your interests are. So if for those individuals who want to make a little bit of capital, growth capital, might I add, on their own personal possessions, you invest in cybersecurity and other such technologies that protects your identity. One of the things I can tell you, the best way to protect your identity in the beginning is to, by default, not use your personal information publicly unnecessarily. So you have a dummy email that you use when you subscribe for stuff, not your primary business email. You don't have your legitimate government name stamped onto your Gmail, because since they don't make that a mandatory background check scenario where they're not yet forcing you to submit an ID in order to get an email, I would put a regular alias name up there for my email so that the email isn't backtracked to me directly. Then when it comes down to any type of survey or document that you have to fill out online, I wouldn't fill it out unless it was absolutely mandatory. Like if you're trying to fill out an insurance form, or if you're trying to fill out a medical record for your health or something like that. Signing up and doing surveys and stuff like that for like purchases, that puts you on a listserv. There is a government website that you can utilize to blacklist your number, but it takes a long time for them to do that, where you don't get as many calls. But the problem is that every time you use your phone number for any type of purchase, they add your number to a contact list, where if you're interested in buying this product from person A, then they'll sell your number to somebody else who has a similar product, and that person will start spamming you with stuff. Whenever you go to apply for a loan, every lender in the world is going to call you and say that you're pre-qualified. That's going to be an issue too. So um, don't post your valuables on social media. Anything that you think has worth, don't post it. When you're, don't do tours of your house. Like you can live stream from your house or take pictures in your house, but like taking a picture in your house in front of something valuable or giving a video tour of the layout of your house, you don't do that. If you buy a new car, you don't show that off to the world. If you have a car, you just have a car, you know, because people will only take from those who they know have something. When it comes down to the scanning things that's at the gas pumps, I can try to find ways to pay attention more to the pump to see if the pump has one of those barcode reader things. But one of the things that I told you guys about that is have a specific secured or preloaded debit or credit card that you use to pay for your gas at the pump. So if somebody does get a hold of it because you forgot to look, the only thing they can get is what was on that card, because the card is limited, and you want to have a limit to like $250 or something like that, where it's enough to fill your tank for the month, but not enough for them to go on a massive shopping spree kind of thing. Specific cards being used for specific types of transactions, heightened fraud alert. If you use your card as an all-purpose card, any transaction can happen and the bank doesn't track it. But if you only make one type of purchase with your card for a year or 2 years, as soon as you start making something, a different kind of purchase, your card will freeze, and then the bank will call you and be like, hey, are you X, Y, and Z with this, that, and the third? And until you verify it, they're not going to allow the transactions to occur. it's inconvenient because as soon as you decide to get gas out of town with a card that you've never used out of town, it flags it, which means that you can't get gas with that card. But it is a very good way to keep yourself safe. Upgrading your cards from the outdated cards that has the account information embedded in the card to the ones that have it like printed on the card where it's a smooth surface where people can't like use the carbon copy paper and just run a pencil over it and get an imprint of your card information. Switching to those is another thing. But that's just stuff I can think of off the top of my head that can kind of reduce it. You want to use your own personal laptop with your own personal secured network. You don't want to use public networks. You don't want to do any online searches for personal things using public service. So if you've got a Wi-Fi to the local whatever service, if you do that, you want to do that for something that's not personal, because anybody nearby can hack into that. Security systems, I have a deep concern for, because while security systems are good, some security systems are not that good. I had a house that was broken into, and a security system allowed the break-in to happen while they had it on video. I had a vivid security system, as a matter of fact, and that they watched the person break in the window, open the front door, and let the second person in. And then I called them, and I'm like, "Why didn't you have the police come over?" And they're like, "Oh, that's okay. They don't have to come for what?" I'm like 200 miles away from the house, and there's nobody supposed to be there. The alarm goes off, and that's a problem. You guys are supposed to dispatch law enforcement to the house, and you didn't. That's a problem. So that's going to be one of those issues. But if you feel safe with your security company, you go ahead and get your security company. I would like to get something that's off the grid, a full network scenario, if possible. That it's a closed system where I document my own stuff, have my own little black box in the house, and have my own camera set up that's exclusive to my network, where a third party isn't responsible for the results of my information. It requires me to micromanage my own things, but putting trust in a third party for a price is nowhere near as feasible, in my personal opinion, at this moment, than to monitor my own stuff at my own leisure for free. That's and then if I fail to pay attention to my own stuff, that's on me, first person accountability. But if I'm paying somebody else to watch my house and my house gets broken into, that's on them. So I kind of want to toss the coin up on that. But yeah, I'll go ahead and cover that for you sometime next week. I'm gonna try to throw it in there. AAA is a good roadside assistance thing, but they limit the number of times they come and get you. I think the most expensive plan allows them to come and get you 4 times a year. They don't do like unlimited pickups. You have to be with the vehicle that's being picked up. So the membership is for the person, not for the specific vehicle. So AAA is good to get. Car Shield is good to get for the specific vehicle, but Car Shield doesn't tow. Car Shield just fixes the properties. I don't have much information off the top of my head for LifeLock, but like I said, yeah, I will look into a lot of that stuff for you, Stephen, and try to get that covered sometime next week. So let's go ahead and dive into tonight's show, because we've got some wild ones here, and I want to go ahead and that's what I appreciate Stephen asking me that question. That's what tonight's show is for. Sunday nights is questions and comments from the fans. If I don't have all the answers, because I don't have all the answers, whenever you ask me a question that is a meaningful question that really looks for some research and some insight. Oh, real quick, Stephen, what state are you in? That will definitely make a difference for your provider. You can send that to me in the membership if you like, but specific states would have specific providers, but I can give you nationwide recommendations. But localized service is going to be exclusive to a specific city or state. So that's going to make a difference with your coverage, but I can kind of give you the details of theft protections. Because a lot of times, a lot of companies are selling theft protection because they're selling the peace of mind for theft protection, not because they actually protect you from being robbed. Like the banks cover you FDIC up to $250,000. If the bank gets robbed, your money is okay. got nothing to do with if somebody steals money out of your bank account. Your money's kind of fucked. You got to watch your own money, and if the bank determines your account to be too high risk, they'll close your account out. All your money will be gone. You'll be robbed, and they'll close out your account. They won't protect your money from the fraud. Bank of America does this, and then you gotta go bank somewhere else and take that L. So it is a huge change to pay attention to, like, exactly what you're protecting and how you're trying to protect it. But I'll do some digging on that. Now, today we're going to get some more questions. We got some people that's talking about some drama. We're going to get into the drama, and then we're going to break it down, and then we're going to see what we're going to do next. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, because I was sitting over here thinking, like, yeah, I don't think you need to blast it all over the live stream. You just throw it in the membership, and then I'll cover different areas so that when I start throwing in some certain companies, you'll know that some of these are in your area. And then I'll make a list. Matter of fact, I can make a list specifically for your area that does make sense for certain types of identity protection stuff, and I'll throw that in the membership and then just cover the full spread show. So give me some time and I'll take care of you on that. Let's get started with the first one.
Hello, my name is CJ. I am 30. And my husband Way 33 are having some problems. I just need advice. This is our 1-year anniversary and he's not even here. He hasn't been here in almost 3 months. This isn't the first time he has left to go back to his state, which is 19 hours away, on our 2nd week of marriage. He was actually already planning on going back because he had an elderly friend that said they needed help. When he got there, the guy didn't even see him, he said. He is from New York, and I'm from a small town in Oklahoma, less than 500 people. He knew this before we married. It's a very poor place and not very good education here, and I know this well. I was with him for almost 3 years in a long-distance relationship at first, and I was growing tired of waiting on him to be with me, so I said marriage or I want out, because I have been through this before with my first marriage, where the guy used me for a green card and would constantly leave me for school or military or whatever, and I was always alone or blamed for everything, and he knew how bad of abusive relationship I was in before we started dating. Also, he made a decision, so marry me. Yes, he was in an Ivy League school, he had a C and kept saying it was his last semester. He constantly says that I forced him to drop out and lose his schooling when I said he could come here and go to school, but he said it's not good enough, and he laughed at me and my family for saying that. Yes, we are very poor. But my family has gave us a free home. It's an old trailer. We only have utilities and food. He knows that we are getting older and how much I want kids, but I have given up on even having kids with him because I don't even know if he will be here or leave back to New York. I am so depressed and I don't know what to do. I am going to find him a job in my area and hopefully he will take it, but I don't know because it means he will have to come back. He has a list of reasons why he has to leave and be there. He wants to go back to school. He wants to try military. His mom has cancer. He can spend less money if he lives with his family up there. He has his friends up there. The reason I didn't go up there was because I have free medical care in Oklahoma, and I understand how expensive that stuff is for medical care, and I am lucky for what I have. No, I don't have a job, and he doesn't have one. He has had his family and mine helping us. He says he wants 60 to 100K a year job, or it's not good enough. I have said I could get one, then he said he didn't want me stressed like my old job did for me. And he said he can't find anything, and I never saw him try for anything, and I even had more interviews than he did, and he has more education than I do. I have no degrees. He has also not told people that we're married. Some people he texted, he has literally said I'm his GF, and it has upset me and I let it go. I don't know what else to put here. If you have any more questions, just ask. I'm just so tired of being alone and hoping he will be here with me. And him bring up kids just hurts me more because he isn't even here, so why would I want kids with someone that couldn't even stay 1 whole year with me? I just want some advice on what we can do. I love him, I just am sad.
Okay, you done? All right, so first you fucked up because you forced him into marriage, because he may have tried the in-person relationship thing with you, but a lot of men would prefer not to be married until they're financially stable. A lot of men would prefer, a lot of people, men and women, would prefer to not have kids until they're financially stable. But those people who are willing to have unprotected sex allow those kids to come, even though they're not financially prepared. Right now, you forced them into marriage because You date guys that are non-Americans who don't have citizenship, and you believe that you're being used for a green card. Why not date an American? That way you don't have to worry about them using you for a green card. Why not date some guy in your local 500 population town? You grew up with these folks. Why don't you have a high school sweetheart? That you got to think about is on you. Now, dude is a financial burden, and as a man, no man wants to be that. He's a financial burden on your family when he's living with you, and he's a financial burden on his family when he's living with them. Now, he may have wanted you to come to New York where he could do everything he wanted to do. His family could help y'all, which would be his responsibility. And the man's family typically takes on that responsibility and cares for the girl when the man isn't doing what the man when the man isn't doing what he is supposed to do, right? Very few cultures have there are matriarchal cultures, but very few cultures that are matriarchal. Most of the patriarchal cultures, the girl lives with the man and the man's family, right? And the man and the man's family takes care of the girl, right? And this is outside of dowries and whatnot, right? So he wants to be in New York, but he wants to be with you. You don't want to leave, and this is where the biggest issue is. You knew that he was a long distance relationship, and you planted roots in your hometown. You met a guy and forced him to relocate for you, marry you, do everything you wanted. And then you're claiming that his desires are excuses. This is going to cause your marriage to terminate very quickly because you're not valuing anything that he values. Um, the trade-off to marrying him should have been going to live in New York. Um, but the other trade-off is don't marry him and see if y'all can get settled in Oklahoma first before you get married. Being married as a conditional clause to remaining in a relationship makes the marriage meaningless because he didn't marry you because you deserved it. He married you because he had to. You didn't marry him because he was worth it. You married him for emotional security. Y'all didn't get married for the right reasons. Now that you're married, you're frustrated that he's identifying you as a girlfriend because you're fucking behaving like a girlfriend. You're not really behaving like a girlfriend, but your girlfriend phase mindset in a marriage, and you're frustrated that he's not willing to identify you as a wife because you're not behaving like a wife. Where is your supportive behavior for your husband's ability to go find a better job because he wants a $60,000 to $100,000 a year job, and in your 500 population city, that job doesn't exist. If he finds a $30,000 or $40,000 a year job, that might be it. Now, problem. You say, oh yeah, your parents gave y'all a place to stay, a trailer. Not a lot of people like trailers. We live in them because we have to, but not a lot of people would prefer a trailer. So now you have a problem where if dude had an apartment, a loft, a house, or whatever that he was happy with, and now he's living in a trailer that he's not happy with, now instead of just staying here and making do, which is called plateauing, he's instead going to pack up all of his stuff and then go somewhere else, make himself financially successful, and then come back and get his wife and share that success with his wife. Now, you said something about him in the military, him in Ivy League schools, and then you say, well, he blames you for forcing him to drop out of school. Well, you complained about how men were making excuses to not be around you, which you really got to stop and think, why does no man want to be around you? You got to ask yourself that. Then let's double back to the fact that if he's quitting school so that he doesn't use school as an excuse, where his Ivy League education could get him a master's level intro mid-tier job kind of thing. Yeah, you kind of stopped him from going further because foreigners are using I got to go to college as an excuse not to be there, but his freaking university's in New York. If I got to go to college Why can't we live on campus together? Why can't we get an apartment down the street from the school? Why can't we build a life where I'm chasing goals that will allow me to take better care of you? Why must we settle down in your town and submit to whatever resources that can be handed down from your family? Which takes away from the masculine man's perspective of how to protect and provide, because he's not providing, he's a dependent. Now you're playing house. You claim that you love him. If you value that man, then you will stop being difficult. Take your ass to New York. That's where he's at. That's where you need to be. Follow your husband. What we just talking about this yesterday? The kind of females that I will go anywhere with you just because you're going. A lot of relationships fall apart, long distance relationships, because one person doesn't want to leave and the other person doesn't want to stay. And it's not with the each other part, it's the location. One person is satisfied with the location that they're in, the other person is not satisfied with the location that they're in and want to relocate. Because both people have planted their seed to doing something different, the team has got to separate, because you can't have two leaders. If I want to go to another country and you don't want to go, I'm going, you're staying, that's the end of the relationship. But if I want to go, I have an opportunity out there, it'll benefit the both of us. You're going to go wherever I go, then we'll go. Vice versa. I want to go to another country just for the sake of going, but you have a better opportunity here. It'll benefit us if we stayed, then I won't go, right? But there has to be benefit to not going. If there's no benefit to not going, like you said, oh, free healthcare. Well, if you're poor enough, you can get free healthcare anywhere in the United States. And if you're sitting on some kind of disability situation, you can get free healthcare anywhere in the United States. You just got to transfer your stuff to the state that you're living in and just start getting benefits from that particular government, that local government. So, Oklahoma has free healthcare. That's not a good excuse to stay in Oklahoma. Shit, you better be going to the doctor freaking twice a week. But yeah, that's my thought. My thought is that you're being unreasonable and you're not willing to compromise, and you're disappointed that he is not willing to 100% surrender to your expectations. That's not going to work out. That marriage is not going to last. He might not divorce you, citizenship, but his ass ain't going to be around until he makes himself financially successful. But I got to commend the guy because he wants to get a good job and do better than what he's been doing. And if that means that he's got to go somewhere else to get it done, then he's got to go somewhere else to get it done. Some men enlist in the army and they're going to be in the war so that they can send money back home. Some police officers join SWAT so that they can get the extra hazard pay, so that they can send more money back home. So, whatever a man's got to do, put his life, his safety, his freedom on the line in order to make sure that his family is taken care of. Sometimes that requires him to go far away from his family, like King Arthur left his kingdom, so that the resources can come back to the kingdom. And you're supposed to be able to respect that. You can't just have him under your armpit all day long and then think, oh, well, we're going to be in a fantastic relationship because he's always where I can see him. No, being emotionally mature requires you to be able to let him do whatever he's got to do, wherever he's got to do it, because when he does come back, he's going to come back successful. Now, if you are really supportive, he wouldn't have to go anywhere without you. So, marginally supportive, just stop bitching. Let's go ahead and check base with the next one.
I think I've made the worst mistake of my life and how to keep going. For backstory, I am 29 and I was homeless and was given a great opportunity to get my life together, and within 2 weeks I moved into an apartment in a city/state I've never been, became a CNA and found love. So I thought. I met this man on Tinder, and as a woman with BPD I tend to attach myself quickly and fell in love with this man. I offered to move in with him in a completely different city and help him with bills. I paid his rent in cash, no lease, only word like, "You don't need all of that, I'd never leave you homeless." I'm an idiot, I know. Fast forward 3 weeks and he's proved himself a narcissist with temper tantrum problems and is essentially kicking me out, and I have no one I know here, no car, no apartment, no money saved up at all, no family, and what to do at this point except quite literally give up.
How do I get over my ex-boyfriend setting the standard for boyfriending too high? A year.
Okay, hold on. We're going to get on to that one. So this girl over here left from wherever she was at, went somewhere, got her a CNA, moved in with your boy, and then all of a sudden she don't like what he's got going on, and she's not following his instructions, and he didn't put her out, and now she's sitting over here destitute. If you made your CNA, one, why are you not staying by yourself? Two, you are CNA, CONA ass somewhere else, and CNA over there. You're CNA, so you got money coming in. Take your last paycheck and get a plane. Go home. Go by your family. And then you're a girl. See, it's hard for men to pack up all their shit and go back home. It takes a life-changing, catastrophic situation. For girls, all you got to do is say he was mean to me, and you can go back home. You can take whatever suitcase that you got and walk your ass back to your damn house. It don't cost that much money. Your last paycheck would be an Uber drive back to the house. It's not that hard to do. So I don't understand what the issue is, but I can see how you're going to blame like bipolar disorder on why you have a lot of emotional insecurities that are causing you to have a very unhealthy attachment style to what seems to be a toxic man that you then realized was a toxic man. And you went from, this is the wild part, from being homeless to being in toxic relationship to back to being homeless. Now, I can ask the question, but I think we all kind of have the idea of the answer, is that where were you before you were homeless? Probably with another toxic dude, right? Because people don't just get born homeless. Like they start off living with somebody. They branch out either by choice or by force. And then shit happens and they end up on the street. Now, from being inside to being outdoors, you found yourself moving in with this guy, I'm going to say out of convenience, because you went from being homeless to a CNA to living with this guy, not from being homeless to being a CNA to living in your own apartment and taking care of yourself, right? So you had the heroin complex, not the hero complex, the heroin complex, because guy Captain Save will hold your ass off the street. So you just love the fact that you're not homeless no more because of him. His house, his rules. You wasn't down for that. Take your ass back outside. Now, my advice, don't do that shit again. First and foremost, you are supposed to be stable when you enter into a relationship, which means that you're going to have to get your emotions in check. You're claiming that you've got bipolar disorder. Do what you got to do with your therapist. Do what you got to do with your medication regimen. And don't let your multiple personalities control your decision-making skills. Then you want to pay attention to, if you're going to look for a partner, somebody that has good decision-making skills, and because you believe that your emotions will sway your attentions, you should do a long, slow relationship, meaning that you guys are around each other for several months before you start committing to the person. And then you're looking at over a year before you start talking about moving in together. And you're looking at 3, 5, 7 years before you start talking about marriage. You want to see longevity in every decision that you make. That way, it is not an impulse decision. You don't buy a car just because you got the money. You buy a car that you know it's going to last. Me and Steven like Toyotas because them motherfuckers last forever. So if you go and grab you a 1980 something, that motherfucker's still going to run. You go grab you a 20 something, 2010, 2015, and 2045, that motherfucker's still going to run. We're not just grabbing something just because of the name brand. You don't want to get into a relationship just for the name brand of being in a relationship. You don't want to get with somebody just because they have an extra room in their apartment. You want to make sure that this person's values significantly aligns with your values, because a guy will give you a job so that he can sleep with you. A guy will give you a place to stay so that he can sleep with you. A guy will give you a ride so that he can sleep with you. So since we understand that there are some men out there that will, with an ulterior motive, do things to benefit you, there are also equally guys who want to see you succeed, and they will just help you succeed just because they can, with no strings attached and no expectations for you to sleep with, right? Now, a lot of women want to call those men simps, but truth be told, there are people who just don't want to see other people fail. And they're like, you know what? I know somebody who will give you a job. I know a place that's got a good deal on rent. I know a place that can get you a good car on the low. And they'll just refer you just so that you can stop struggling, right? So what you want to do is you want to gravitate around people that are showing you good faith, goodwill, with no strings attached. You don't want to move into that guy's house just because he's done a lot of nice things for you. You don't want to just put all of your eggs in one basket. Build your life up. Accept some of the help that he's offering. Reciprocate by, buying him a gift or taking him out to dinner or putting some gas in his car, pay for some car repair or some shit. But never transactionally put yourself in a relationship where you're getting resources for him getting sex, because that relationship out of convenience, you're not with him because of his personality and his characteristics. He's not with you because of your ability to be helpful and cooperate in a relationship. So as soon as the relationship stops being convenient, since you're living in his house and all of your stuff is in his house and you have no other resources besides his stuff, you're in a disadvantage. You want to be in this where the equal partner identification is not because you put 50% of the stake in the game. It's because the man benefits from you being there more than just putting money down for the rent. Because he can kick your ass out because he's tired of your bullshit, even if you're paying 75% of the rent. The fact is that a man is going to benefit outside of the bedroom from the woman, bringing peace to his life and prosperity from aiding him in being more successful, not just going to work and getting a job and bringing back money and this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So if you are a good partner, if you are cooperative, and I'm going to go so far as to say is if you are obedient, then you're capable of finding a man that can reciprocate. And that's the kind of guy that you'd be able to grow with. But now that you've got your left foot in front of your right, walk your ass on back to your damn mama house so that you can stop dealing with this homeless situation. Okay? Because that's not going to end well. You're going to find yourself in a wrong situation because you're going to get into a relationship out of desperation. Whoever's willing to spend enough money on you, you're going to spend a night by his house and then never leave. And as long as he's getting free sex out of you, he's not going to ask you to leave. But that still has you living from house to house, place to place. You do not have a solid foundation. And every relationship you get in like that is always going to be toxic because y'all aren't doing it for the right reasons. Right? So let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
A year ago, I dumped a man who was absolutely wonderful, but I wasn't mature enough to see what I had. And I had been dealing with some previous trauma from past boyfriends. I'll admit I was hoping to keep my most recent ex in my life, but I hurt him too badly during the breakup when I snapped at him. And he has me blocked on everything. A year later, after going to therapy on a regular basis, I tried dating again, but nobody matches up to him. My ex-boyfriend pulled out my chair, held the door open. He walked on the side closest to the road to avoid me getting hit by a puddle. He paid for everything. He was so much better at handling stress and my mood swings. He brought me flowers, visited me when I was sick. The date I went on recently, the guy stared at his phone most of the time, couldn't keep a conversation, and then at the end of the date he was like, "Hey, can you cover this?" I've gone on other dates, but they all end in failure. My ex was also more affectionate, and he tried to make me feel special. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I feel like the more I'm away from him, the more I feel like I screwed up by not staying with him.
Yes, ma'am. You definitely screwed the pooch on that one. I can clearly say that you will never find another guy like him. You let a good one get away. All the metaphors that apply to that. Let's see, a lot of the times women believe that they can always find better. And women aren't the only ones that believe that. Men believe that too. Because of social media, it's like, oh, well, there's so many different people in my DMs, there's so many different people that's offering X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C, that if it doesn't work out with this person, then the next person can do or will do better. But the truth of the matter is that's not the case. In practice, most people lie, men and women alike. You ask a woman what she's willing to do for a man, she will lie and say whatever he wants. But if you ask that exact same woman, will she submit and be obedient to her man, she'll say fuck no. Which also means you won't do whatever he wants. Because that's clearly the definition of obedience. Whenever I say do something, you go do it. No questions asked, no arguing, no back talk. There's a method to my madness. There's a reason why I'm asking you to do it. It may benefit you after you got it done, but because you don't want to be told what to do, you will never reap the rewards of the benefit because you don't want to follow instructions. So when you find a good guy, unconditional guy who will pull out the chair for you, cut up your steak, get hit by cars for you, get wet for you, catch the flu, trying to keep you healthy, work 2 jobs to make sure you're provided for. Those are the $50,000 men that no woman wants. But those are some of the greatest men on the planet. Those are the men that would be good husbands and good fathers. Those are the men that would be good protectors and good providers. Yeah, they're broke as fuck, but those are some of the greatest men that women take advantage of and women devalue specifically because they believe that they can do better. Now, as you continue to move on in life, you are going to come to find that most men don't behave that way. There are a lot of us out there that are good dudes, but there's just as many that are not. Women put all men into an all men category because all of the men that she attracts are the same type of man. All of the men that she's not attracted to is a different kind of man. You got to start looking outside of your type. Didn't we just talk about that like yesterday and the day before yesterday? You got to start looking outside of your type because that will help you find something different. Now, you're also going to have to change from the hypergamy theory. A lot of women are going to go into, he said, I'm a good dude, but cut up a chick's steak. Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. You're not going to do that on the first date, but it would happen in a situation where, let's say that she was sick and let's say that you was cooking for her because she didn't have the energy to get up and make nothing to eat. And you be in there making something. You be chopping up all the steak and roasting the potatoes and breakfast in bed. You'll bring her one of those steamed Chick-fil-A meals, not the Chick-fil-A, the Chili's, the top sirloin with the filleted mignon with the bacon wrapped around it. Yeah, you would. You would. I would too. And the fact is that because we are that kind of man, we expect to have the kind of women that would reciprocate. So when I tell a woman to go get me something to eat, get your ass up and get me something to eat, because I know that if your ass was hungry, I would have done the same shit. You wouldn't even have to say you're hungry. It's the fact that I don't remember the last time you ate, and I might just feed you because I don't want you to get hungry, right? Reverse that. Why the fuck, if I got a female in my house, is she not making sure that I'm not hungry too? If I'm going in the kitchen looking for something to eat, your ass is slacking. But that's the dynamic. So after you've experienced a good man, typically it's hard to find another one, especially in the same neighborhood. And with social media, a lot of the young guys that are out there looking to get laid, a lot of the attractive guys that are out there looking to get laid more, the guys that you're not attracted to, those are the guys that are going to behave the same way as the guy that you just left. But he might have been a really attractive dude that had this personality he might have been like a 6 or a 7 or an 8, something like that. above average attractiveness kind of guy that was treating you the way like a 5 or a 4 might do. And the fact is that because she might be a 6 on her best day and she attracted a 7 and she mistreated him, and then now she's looking at 4s and 3s that she's not interested in, and 6s and 7s that aren't the kind of man that she wants. At the end of the day, it's like you can't get it all. You're looking for that personality, you're gonna have to look down the totem pole at some less appealing people. You know, there are a lot of women that will get a man not because of his looks, but there are a lot of women that starts with the looks and then see what else is there. And the problem is that if you start with the looks, because unlike women, men don't change their natural beauty or the lack thereof. We are the way we are when we get out of bed every day. Women get out of bed and they have to transform themselves like fucking Decepticons in order for them to walk outside. Feminine pride transform or and then turn into this attractive chick that we don't even recognize, right? And that is a complete difference. So we can fall for what she looks like when she's out of the house, but when we go back to the house and then she transforms back to threat, we got to love her for who she is, right? And she will never dress up for us like that ever again. She will only dress up like that when she's leaving the house. So we get to be attracted to Barbie, Malibu Barbie, and then when we connect and stay locked in a long-term relationship with Malibu Barbie turns into Shrek at the house, Malibu Barbie in the street, she Cruella DeVille at the house, Stacy Keebler in the streets. You know what I mean? And as a man, we have to accept her when she's at her worst at the house. Right now, what women are going to have to start doing is looking past the man, because we got to look past your ugly when you're at home. She has to look past the man and start paying attention to his personality and his character, because that's something that's not going to change. Stop looking at his face and stop looking at his money. Stop looking at the size of his junk and start paying attention to his character, to how he behaves and how he treats you. Prioritize that over everything. And then see if everything else falls into place. Because if he's got a good character, he's got a good personality, and he prioritizes you, you can help him find a better job. You can help him get into shape. You can take him to a barber and change the way his hair looks. If he's head over heels for you, all of the physical characteristics that can be changed, he's willing to change it, right? So if you're going to make him better with the changes that you're asking, then him doing it, he will see a benefit and an improvement from that, which again would make you wife material, because he would benefit from your presence. If he was sloppy and you clean him up and now he's sharp, he's just stepped up, he's just elevated. You might have found him at a 4 and then made him an 8. And that happens. I forgot the name of the movie, How to Be a Player, How to Make a Player. I think that's what it was called. The little girl was dating a nerd in school, and she taught him how to be the cool kid on campus, and then he had all the girls. Yeah, you can make a man better than what he is, but you got to invest in him. If you invest in him, then everything that he does, you're entitled to, because you put him in the position to get that. That's called earning your keep as a wife. Not a lot of women do that. Oh, I'll just get my own money. Yeah, but you're not bringing none of that to the table. You're not bringing none of that to this situation. So we're in a position where you're doing for yourself, and then what am I here for? Right? We got to start paying attention to that. Let's see what the next one is about.
Found out friend is a sex offender. He was so nice and gave off no red flags. My coworkers were scrolling through the sex offender site and he was in there. I actually cried finding this out because I was so damn sad. He made me happy to talk to. I can never look at him the same. It happened in 2010 or 12. But the thing is, he's saying that he basically just woke up to this girl doing shit to him. Makes no damn sense. But y'all don't get it, there was literally no hint that he did such a thing, which makes me have the tiniest thought that maybe it wasn't true. But being a survivor of it myself, I can't just let it go. I knew he would lie. How do you not? This is what he said. The truth? I let her sleep in my bed 'cause she woke me up from drinking with her dad. She said she was having nightmares and wanted to sleep with me. I told her to get her own blanket and went back to sleep. I woke up again to her performing actions on me in my sleep. By time I woke up fully, the deed was done. Ain't no way in hell this is true. The child was under 12 years old. He was like 19 or something. Old enough to know better. I don't trust him and I blocked him. But I took the risk of listening to what he said because I just needed a bit of closure.
Okay, you needed a reason to hate him. That's what you needed. I don't condone this type of behavior, but one of the problems that you're going to have to deal with is that the older that people get, the more mistakes that they have in their past. Some of them are unconscionable, and some of them that you're not going to really want to let somebody come back off of. But you said like 2012 or 2010. It is 2026, so that's what, 14 years ago. The problem with statutory is that it could be consensual. And because she's not of the consensual age, that he gets a charge. Now, y'all got to be careful about that now, because in the state of Louisiana, it doesn't matter what happens. Once you get that charge, you are castrated. They are taking your manhood away from you. So even if it was a mistake, even if it was a false claim that wasn't proven false before they castrate you, yeah, you're done. The issue here is, one, why are you even looking up sex offenders? Because it sounds to me like somebody tipped you off that the guy that you were supposedly dating might be on the registry. Then when you found it, you're like, oh, dang, right? Instead of just going to talk to him about it first. So then you have the situation where you want him to tell you what happened, but you don't really care what happens because you're grossed out by the fact that, he's on this list. Even if everything he said was true, because if you recognize, like, a lot of these kids is out here starting early, real early. And with alcohol in play, while I don't condone any of that type of behavior, you have a lot of things that get done that's not supposed to get done, which is one of the reasons why I tell guys, stop picking up girls at the bar, stop buying them drinks, getting them drunk, and then doing things with them, because you can get charges just like this. And not all the time are the girls at the bar of age, because they can get in with a fake ID. They can get in with a damn convincing fake ID, but the law states that even if it was a fake ID, it is your responsibility to know what a fake ID looks like. And if you got duped and you ended up, sleeping with a chick that's not of the age of 18, you find yourself in a position where you catch that charge, even though you didn't know, because ignorance is no excuse for the law. Now, this happens more to men than it does to women. Uh, Women are less likely to get an offender charge. If she's 19 and she's sleeping with a 12-year-old, if she's 38 and she's sleeping with a 16-year-old, everybody's going to high five the boy, right? Social stigma. So the problem is that if the man has already done his time and he has changed in some way, shape, or form, turned over a new leaf, who he is today is not defined by what mistakes he made in the past. That doesn't mean that you have to give him a chance. You can be closed-minded, especially since you claim that you experienced something that you wasn't supposed to experience in your past. That trauma there triggers you, where this guy is now the embodiment of one of your greatest fears and traumas. So that relationship wouldn't work out to begin with. However, if you have this fear, you have this trauma, why did you get emotionally invested in the guy before you did a background check on him? He said, if she was born in the 2000s, I can't even consider it. Well, I mean, in our current day and age, if she was born in 2000, she'd be 26. But no, they're saying that it happened in either 2010 or 2012. Um, and if it happened in 2010 and the girl was somewhere between 12 and 16, then that means that she would have been born in the early 90s. But it was an incident that happened like 15 years ago, or 14 or 15 years ago. It's a situation that not only happened, it resolved itself, and he is currently a free man with no warrants out for his arrest. So this is almost a lot like a guy who went to jail for murder, did his 5 years. The murder charge happened 20 years ago. Still can't get a job. Still can't find good places to stay in certain places. Still are going to be looked at sideways by certain people. Getting arrested for theft. You know that he said a little off topic, but I thought I would throw that in there. No, that's completely on topic. That's completely on topic because I gotta understand. I understand what you're saying. If in 2010, when the situation happened, and the person that I was looking at had been born in 2000, I agree with you. I would be the babysitter, not like, ooh, this is a potential candidate. Like, I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing. But you realize the story that is behind this scenario is that the boy and the dad were drinking. So he was a friend of the family. There's more to this than meets the eye. The woman might be understating it, and the girl might have not have been 12. The girl might have would have been 16 to his 19, but because she's not of the age of 18, when he's over the age of 18, when mom comes in, that's a wrap. Because dad could have been cool with it. Everybody's drinking beers, which he's underage drinking. Everybody's drinking beers, and he's dating the girl, and dad could have been cool with it. And mom comes in, and mom's not cool with it, calls the police, and the boy goes to jail. The fact is that the whole story could have been exactly true. It's just that it wasn't a 12-year-old, it was a 16-year-old, and 16-year-olds would have done something like that. It still would be illegal. But the fact is that while he would have caught that charge, he's already paid penance to his mistake, and condemning him further because of the shit that he went through, whether he's telling the truth or not. To me, my thought is, in order for somebody to redeem themselves, you have to give them an opportunity to start over. It doesn't matter what they've done in the past, in order for them to redeem themselves. And this is only for redemption. Because I mean, if you're gonna do like eternal condemnation, it's like first time you fuck up in life, it's like they're exiled, right? Ostracized. But he did his time. I don't know if he did probation. I don't know if he went to prison or whatever the case may be. But this was a 2010 or 2012 issue. Here in 2026, it should not be the topic of his relationship. I mean, technically, it's going to end up having to be at some point, because if he moved into her neighborhood, he should be on the registry, because they got to register for the rest of their lives. Every time they relocate, they have to register. So that is the other problem that I have, is that if she is a recovering victim of the situation, she should be able to cross-check every handshake in public with the registry, the most updated registry. He's new to the neighborhood. Let's see if he's registered. Because when they register publicly, and then they end up in a newspaper and all that stuff. There's a new list out. I think it's the Next Door app that shows you all of the sex offenders in your neighborhood. You can do a background check on your property that shows you all of the sex offenders in your neighborhood. And you'll come to find out there's a lot of sex offenders out there. There's a lot of them out there. And there's still people, though. I know that sounds like I'm taking pity on these guys, but no, I'm very empathetic to the fact that once you've done something that you're not supposed to do, which this weighs heavier on men than what it does on women. When a man does something that he's not supposed to do in his life, doesn't matter what it is, he can never live it down. When a woman does something that she's not supposed to do in life, you got to accept me for what I am. And that double standard actually shows true to this scenario here. Because if this girl would have been 12 years old, pregnant like that, I covered that story about that girl that was 15 years old, and she was sleeping with 25 different boys in her school in the bathroom after school. I mean, I don't even know this little kid's name, but she's like 15 and she had more partners in one day than years lived. Like, it's ruined now. Like, I think like 5 or 10 of them went to jail. Some of them got a probation. All of them got expelled. And this was like a private school. It was like a Catholic private school. And the wild part is that when this little girl is 20, when this little girl is 25, she's not going to go to the school reunion because yeah, that's the girl that got ran through by the whole team. But no dude in the 25 or 30-year-old scenario is going to be looking at her like, oh, I can't believe that you did that, right? If she married a guy and she was married to him for 25 years and then come across some whatever document that ends up like implicating her in that particular scenario, like, oh, you slept with half of the football team when you were in high school, like it's not going to change the marriage, right? Because she's different than what the guys are. So that's why I tell guys, y'all got to be very careful, fellas. Y'all got to be very, very careful when y'all out here talking to these females, especially if you're talking to them from 20 to 30. You want to make sure that they are 20 to 30. You might want to check their passport, not just their driver's license, because they can make a fake state ID, they can make a fake driver's license, but it is hard to replicate that passport book or that passport card, right? So till they start counterfeiting those some bitches, you want to check their birth certificate, you want to check their passport card, and in these day and ages, I know that seems to be extreme, but you should be able to cross check that with their last STD test and be like, hey, what's good? It takes all the romance out of a fling, but it keeps your grown ass from going to jail or catching something that you can't get rid of. It requires you to be diligent. And then for those men that are of higher financial status, you got more to lose because even if you don't go to jail, now you're cutting a settlement check that's hush money so that they don't ruin your reputation financially. And a lot of times you got parents that will send their children out there to get caught up in a Michael Jackson scandal, to get caught up in an R. Kelly scandal, to get caught up in a Diddy party, so that they can get paid. So, fellas, and you got so many people that protect the athletes and tell the athletes don't get out there and do nothing stupid because some of these people are out there for your money and they will do whatever it takes to get your money and they'll join a party, have a one night stand with you, get pregnant just so that they can take a third of your income as child support. It's crazy. So, for her, I'm thinking, uh, yeah, you should go ahead and break up with the guy. But truth be told, before you got emotionally invested with the guy, you should have did a background check on him. But now that you're emotionally invested in the guy, you don't have to forgive him. He didn't do you nothing, but you should at least give him an opportunity to show you that he's changed. Because that is the debt to society, right? Once the debt is paid, I'm a clean dude. That's just it's weird how forever ostracized. But I know that some people are going to say that there are some situations that are just completely unforgivable forever. Until you're that person with that charge in your background, where the right person doing the right FBI background check, your name pops up on certain lists. Until you're that person, you can say certain things are unforgivable. But when you're that person, you're gonna say, well, shit, nobody will give me a chance. Nobody will let me be better. Nobody will let me show them that I'm different now, right? And that um, understanding that I have is that what is our prison system supposed to be about? Not just keeping them caged up. If they're supposed to be learning from their mistakes and then doing better after that, yeah, you did what you did, but what are you doing now? If dude's not hanging around places where they're under the age of 20, right? He's over here dating a woman that's 30 something, right? Then at the end of the day, he's showing you better than he can tell you because he ain't even around motherfuckers that can accidentally be perceived as, you know what I mean? So what are you doing now is more important than what you did in the past. But this is also a very good thing for everybody to pay attention to, is that the choices that you make today will dramatically impact the available choices you'll have in 5, 10, 20 years. You have to be careful with what you do and who you do it with today, because the in the moment gratification that you have with the person or people that you're with at the moment can lead to catastrophic failure in your future. It is highly important. The more social media gets out there, it is highly important for you to audit your own behavior, as if somebody is video recording your actions for later playback, because you never know when a secret webcam in a house could end up being a live stream on a social media platform. You never know, especially since it's not your house. You never know when the phone in their pocket is on audio record when you're having that supposed private conversation in the car. You never know when the person, even though we got wiretap laws out there, you never know when the girl that you're dating isn't recording you to blackmail you or extort you down the line. Even if she's just going to do it to ruin your reputation on a personal level outside of the law, the fact is you have to be careful with what you say and who you say it to and how you say it, just in case what you said is replayed to somebody else without your knowledge. You want to be proud of how you behave. You want to be proud of what you said, and you want to be proud of what you did. So no catchbacks, no zingers, no snap, no head twirl kind of behavior, no world star moments, no, yeah, I got that motherfucker. None of that. None of that. You want to have the kind of character where people can say, I wouldn't have been able to handle that situation any better. That is the only response that you're supposed to get from the decisions that you're supposed to make, which also means that in every scenario, even the good ones, you got to take a breath, separate the emotion, the lust from the moment, think about what's about to happen, and then ask yourself if this incident would be replayed in 3 weeks or a month or 2 years, how would it be perceived by a third party? I just talked to you guys about this like over the last couple of days. And if it could potentially end up as an OJ case, if it could potentially end up, like a Pee Wee Herman trial, then at the end of the day, bro, you should probably walk away from that. If you're with this group of people, y'all having a good time, folks is taking mollies, folks are smoking blunts, folks are taking shots, cello shots and everything like that. Coyote Ugly with the lemon drops off the navel and all of this other stuff. Yeah, I went to college, I know what I'm talking about. And you find yourself, one of the chicks wants to go back into the room, and you think to yourself, Charlie Sheen had a legal case just like this. Mystical had 2 cases just like this. Charlie Sheen went to jail. Mystical did 10 years each time. That's when you say, okay, look, you lay down and you go to sleep. I'm going to go home. If you feel like doing this tomorrow when you sober up, then let's do it. But tonight, I'm not doing it. That's how you protect yourself. All right, let's go ahead and talk to the next one.
I think my marriage is cooked. Wife clearly in emotional affair. Just some background context. I'm 38 and wife is 37 and we have a 3.5-year-old. A package was delivered to the house in December and my wife said a work friend sent it. She works remote from home. I really didn't think anything of it. It contained a bracelet with blue beads and 2 Turkish airline tags. A few days later I saw her phone message pop up and it was a selfie of her and I immediately thought, weird, who would my wife send a cute posing selfie to? I then checked her phone when she was in the shower and saw it was a picture of her showing the bracelet he got her, and she was doing a half-kiss pout face, and under the picture was this. Honey, oh, and I love this so much, thank you, you're so thoughtful, I appreciate you, this is the best gift, also the Turkish airline tags, I'm dead, are you telling me I need a vacation, honestly made my day, thank you so much, love you. His response was, I'm glad you got them and liked them. The Turkish airline tag I got this time, but I thought you could use them next time you go too. Hopefully soon, and the bracelet just for you to have something from Turkey and from me. I was thrown TF back when I saw this, as there wasn't anything out of the ordinary in our relationship, regular sex, no drama, just regular daily work stress type of stuff here and there. I then scrolled up to see the nature of these convos, and it began the year prior with her first message saying this, "It's your Turkish princess," and he just hearted it and said, "Ha, I love it," and saving it. And then just her reaching out a week later after work saying happy Friday, and then him asking to call him. Nothing really after that until the gift exchange, because she left the company and for 7 months and then returned. Obviously I see how fucked up this is. She seems to be legit in love with him. She vehemently denies that it was anything, and she doesn't have those romantic feelings for him. They just have that type of relationship because Turkish culture is just more expressive like that. She also
Bullshit.
said he's legitimately gay. This whole thing is
Bullshit.
fucked, and I don't know what to do at the moment. When we spoke last night and she denied it to the extreme, she legit said she is willing to do anything to prove it and make it right. Another co-worker female also received a bracelet, but only my wife received the airline tags. My wife called the girl while I was there, and during the call my wife mentioned she received airline tags with her bracelet and if she thinks that meant anything from him. The girl said, "You know he's gay, right?" And my wife was like, "Yeah, I know, that's why I was confused." The point is, it doesn't change how emotionally charged that message was, and the hint of travel showed flirty interest. It feels like she legit wants this guy, as there was so many other ways to say thanks without all the love shit. My wife also made a comment that she would be willing to deal with the hurt of me having sex with another woman as like a burden for her to carry as a result of this. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
Okay, she preparing to cheat on you, so saying, "Oh, you can go ahead and cheat on her because if you cheat on her, then we're even." I don't care if he gay or not. Um, there you're so monogamy is going to be emotional monogamy as well as physical monogamy, and that's one of the things that we have a huge issue with because men are physical and women are emotional. So when a man has a physical connection with a woman, his heart is still with his girlfriend. When a woman has a emotional connection with a man, her heart is with the other guy. Um, it is unacceptable to women for a man to have a emotional or physical connection with another woman. So I do not understand why women validate the ability to have an emotional connection with a man. Um, and we already understand that a physical connection is unacceptable as well. So it is my observation that she's making a lot of excuses, but she is violating the sanctity of your monogamous marriage. If y'all had an open marriage where you had females that you were emotionally bonded with and she had males that she was emotionally bonded with, and y'all agreed upon this, that would be different. But way she's behaving right now, I would say that that's inappropriate. Now, if you're going to stay in a marriage, you're going to fix the marriage, you can. That requires her to disassociate with this man 100% and be exclusive to you and treat you the way she was treating him. Well, treat you better than what she was treating him. Now, a lot of guys, masculine alpha men, are going to say get rid of her because if she's willing to do that this way with what is supposed to be a gay guy, you can only imagine what she would have done with a guy that wasn't gay. So um, that's like a red flag waiting to happen. And I think that the safest thing for you to do is go ahead and pull out of this relationship. I know that requires getting a divorce, but if you stay in it, she's already willing to endure you cheating on her, which means that she's willing to cheat on you if you're going to allow her to do it because she's willing to allow you to cheat on. She's willing to allow you to cheat on her. So that means that each one of you is going to have extra people under your belt in this marriage. That's not a healthy marriage. She should be trying to do whatever it takes to fulfill your expectations as a wife so that you can do everything in your power to fulfill her expectations as a husband, which means she's not supposed to be giving any extra attention to other men, gay or not. So, yeah, you hit the nail on the head, but your marriage is cooked. There's two ways you can go about doing it. You can try to fix it. You're taking a risk, but it could work. You know, maybe some therapy, a lot more communication, and then if she is emotionally deprived in a relationship, because that's probably what it sounds like to me. It's like you're not giving her the attention that she needs, and she's getting it from this guy over here in a platonic fashion, and she thought that was okay, but no. first person accountability, if she is getting emotional attention from another guy, you need to pay more attention to your wife. You can't just blame this all on her. It's not just her. You fucked up too, because for her to be communicating with this guy for over a year and you're not paying attention to it, you really fucked up. Because she should have your undivided attention when she's not at work. Some women are like, no, fuck that. No, but really, you should be able to pay attention to your wife when she's not at work. So there's no reason why you didn't know that something changed. But now that you know, you either fix it or you divorce it. A lot of men are going to say divorce it. A lot of men are going to say divorce it, because this carried on for a year. This would have been if he's not gay, she's about to start sleeping with him when she flies off to Turkey on business. But if he is gay, she would have slept with him sooner. Because men don't buy gifts for women they're not sleeping with or intending to sleep with. So, just got to think about that. And then he's giving it to more than one girl. So if all the girls on the job is getting this "I'm gonna fuck you" bracelet, because it's not that hard for a straight man to pretend like he's gay just so that he can be in the woman's locker room when all the girls are changing and they're all comfortable with that. It's not that hard, and then all of a sudden, whoops, slipped in. So you kind of got to change the way things are and then get it done differently. But I don't know. That's a tough one, buddy. That's a tough one. But let's go ahead and touch base with the next one. We got a couple more.
I am 19 and I sold my pictures to make easy money. So I recently started posting and I started getting lots of messages asking for pictures in return for money. I ignored these messages, but a few days ago a guy offered me $50 up front in exchange for just some normal pictures of mine. $50 is not a lot, but it's still a good amount of money to me, and I didn't think of the work as something wrong, so I decided to do it. A few minutes after I sent him the pictures, he asked for more in exchange for $50 again. I did it again, then he asked me to remove my t-shirt and send him a picture, and he told me he'd pay me $150 for it. $150 is a lot of money for me, and I couldn't think clearly about what I was doing, and I decided to do it. He sent me the money through Telegram, and I sent him the picture. Soon after I did it, I wanted to make more money, and I did the same thing with 2 more people for lesser money. And while I'm writing this, I have shame in my heart about what I'm doing, but I also feel like it's not my fault for being born poor, and I'm not hurting anyone by doing what I did. If what I did was right or wrong, and my head hurts when I start thinking about it.
Your ethics got your damn head hurting, little girl. How is it not your fault? You took the fucking photo. You sent the fucking photo. You posed in the fucking photo. Look, let me tell you something. You can be poor and you can shovel horse shit for money. You can be poor. You can clean parking lots for money. You can be poor and you can have a bottle of Windex and a towel and white windshields on a street corner at a red light for money. You can be poor. You can have a cooler full of ice and bottled water selling that at an intersection. You can be poor and you can have a stack of TV guides or whatever, fucking newspapers or whatever, and sell those on a street corner. You can be poor and play music. Those freaking human statues. There's so many things that you can do and still have a poor background. You didn't have to sell yourself. I don't give a damn if it was a photo. I don't give a damn if it was a video. You thought, I'm cute. I can send this cute photo of me. Sweetheart, you could have got abducted off of them damn photos. You could have, for real, been on your way to a T-Mobile in the mall and never made it there. Them headshots could have been a damn target. Then they got you taking your clothes off. For $150? First off, I'm disappointed at the fact that you did it all together, but I'm disappointed about the fact that you didn't do the research. Do you realize that photos for a 19-year-old are like $1,250. He gave you $150. He flipped that photo and made way more money off of that photo. If you're gonna do something that you ain't got no business doing, do your research and get market value off of the corruption. But again, your morals and ethics creeped up on you, and it's not my fault. No, it is your fault. It is your fault. You made a bad choice. Now, one of the worst things about this type of bad choice is going to haunt you in your future the same way the dude being on the sex offender list is haunting him in his future, because your half-naked photos that you sent to a stranger is likely going to pop up somewhere right when you're trying to get a really good job interview. It's going to pop up somewhere right when you're trying to do something important in your life. It's going to pop up somewhere when you least suspect, because that photo is now circulated. And somebody's going to send it to somebody who's going to send it to somebody who's going to end up being a guy that's looking at you across the room. For some reason, he recognizes you and you don't know why. Them damn photos, that's why. And I strongly think you should not have done that. So for all the ladies of all the ages, especially the ones with Instagram models and all this, that, and the other, it's like, look, do not subject yourself to he'll pay for your photos. He'll pay for your video. He'll pay for your whatever it is that you're trying to do when it comes down to selling your body. Doesn't matter if it's just a photo. Doesn't matter if he's just looking. What matters is that your ability to maintain your own dignity, your own value, your own integrity, because husbands are not looking for girls that are centerfolds. Those aren't what centerfolds are not wife material. If you end up in a nudie magazine, that's not wife material, right? Your integrity is shot. Okay? You have to recognize when it is and when it is not a good idea to do something. And just because you needed the money and it was easy money, and you started trying to entrepreneur this shit, because you went from the one dude that was offering you $150 to 2 or 3 other dudes that might have been offering you 25 to 30 bucks. So now you're getting more money in 15 minutes than what you would have gotten on a 10-hour shift working a regular 9 to 5. And because of this, the easy money allows you to do this without regard, but now you're starting to regret it. Now they're starting to ask for too much. Now they're probably going to be wanting full-on centerfold news. The fact of the matter is that life is not easy. Nothing about life is easy. And whenever you find something that is too easy and pays, there's got to be something wrong with it. Something morally wrong with it, something ethically wrong with it. There's got to be something wrong with it. Because if it was that damn good, every fucking body will be doing it. If you're the only person in your group that even knows that this exists, your mom and them don't know about it, your auntie and them don't know about it, your homies don't know about it, probably not an above bar scenario. And ultimately, that puts you in a position where you have to degrade and devalue yourself to make a buck. And I mean, if you're willing to degrade and devalue yourself to make a buck, then you should be able to clean toilets and make $5. But now that it's over, don't do it again. That's the best I can tell you. Let's see another one.
My husband cheated on me. I have been feeling like something was off for a couple of weeks now. My husband had a total personality change. He said he fell out of love with me, emotionally and physically withdrew from me all within those 2 weeks. He even blamed me, basically saying there was lack of intimacy after our baby was born. She's almost 1 now. I was going to confront him about my gut feeling. I knew something wasn't right. Fast forward to today. I was napping before my night shift. I heard him come home from work early around 8 p.m. When I woke up around 9:30, I didn't see him. I thought that was strange. I called him, he didn't answer. I needed him to come home to be with the baby while I go to work. So I checked his location because he usually always still answers the phone. He was at a house 5 minutes away where we know nobody. I texted him and asked where he was. I needed to leave for work soon. He texted back he was driving 15 minutes away, even though I can clearly see he's down the road. I waited for him to get home and asked again where he went. He said he had to come home, shower, because he got dirty at work and then went back to work. He was never at work. I can see that thanks to Apple Find my location. He wasn't wearing work clothes. He said he took them off because they were dirty. Just a bunch of lies. When I was asking him all this, he looked like he had seen a ghost. We have marriage counseling appointment tomorrow. I think I am going to mention things have felt off, and I know there's something going on. Give him the opportunity to confess. When he leaves, I'm going to lay it all out for the counselor and ask for advice. I am trying to keep a strong mind for my daughter. I know I am going to confront him, though. I never thought he would do this to me. I always trusted him. I am nervous about leaving. I don't want to lose custody for leaving her primary residence. Where do I go from here? What can I do if I want a divorce and have a child involved in Michigan? Has anyone been through this? I'm heartbroken and angry.
Okay, so you're not doing it for the sake of the child. You're doing it for the sake of yourself. First problem is you're stalking your husband, which you shouldn't be doing. Second problem is, well, shit. First problem is that you haven't been intimate with your husband over the last year because you're going to blame that on the child. That wasn't a child. That was you. You're no longer in the mood. That's an issue. You got to find a way to express intimacy in some kind of way to make sure that there's something there in a relationship between the two of you. However, stalking your husband, that was the other problem. Now, problem, you have reason to believe that your husband was in the same location as the device that you were tracking. That can't be proven. Reason being, I got 2 cell phones, right? And this is just 2 of them that's next to me, right? So if you got a tracker on one of them and I left with the other one, you don't know where the fuck I'm at. You know where the device is, which apparently is down the street, but you don't know where I'm at. Now, the problem with that is you said we don't know anybody at that location. That's not true. You don't know anybody at that location. He clearly knows where he's at and who he's with and what he's doing. Now, let's say it is an affair. Let's say you want to get a divorce. You don't have a stable place to go. Leave the child with the father. Get yourself together and then do 60-40 joint custody. Daddy has the child most of the time. You come and visit the child on the weekends. Gives you the ability to chase your career. Let him learn the errors of his ways by having to spend most of his time making decisions working around his inavailability with his kid. Right? You can really punish a man by leaving him with the burden, but no woman wants to do that. Most women want the child support check, so they don't want to leave without being capable of taking the payday with them. They want to keep the child, not because of it being in the child's best interest, but because with the child comes compensation. That's the way it is. So you're in a position where the child is now going to watch you fuck everything up. That's really what's going to happen. The child's going to watch you fuck everything up. You're going to wait until he leaves the room, and then you're going to get there and try to get the therapist to side with you so that it's you and the therapist versus him, and that's not a healthy scenario. If you believe that he's cheating on you, you can just leave. If you want confirmation and verification about him cheating on you, you can ask. And if he says no, then you just let it go. You don't have to believe him. You just let it go. Your marriage is supposed to be built on trust and love. If it is not built on the trust and the love, then it doesn't matter what he says because you're not going to believe him. Just go the other way. you know? So from the perspective that he's not cheating, let's come off of that hypothetical. So what if he went by one of his homeboys that he never introduced to you because the hero is with the kid? The homeboy's got a job for him. It's not his typical 9 to 5. He got up, he left. He left his phone at his homeboy's house. He goes and does this job, gets his clothes all fucked up. He's got to come back and take a shower. He came back and told you the exact truth. It doesn't matter if he was painting a house, digging a ditch. It doesn't matter if he was rebuilding a pool, trimming some yards, cutting lawns, lifting trash, whatever the hell he was doing. He was out there trying to make some extra money. What if he was trying to make some extra money so he could take you somewhere nice, get you a vacation, give you a little bit of a break? Now, all of this effort because you're going off of a suspicion because you're stalking him, right? You didn't see him with another woman. You don't have photos and video of him with another woman. You just tracked his GPS signal. You don't know if he was at work. You didn't go to his job to bring him lunch to find out he wasn't there, right? You just assumed that that's not his work uniform. I've gone to work on days when I used to work for somebody else, and we had to do what is called deep cleaning of the restaurant. Yeah, I used to work in restaurants. I wasn't going there in my uniform. I wore old, dirty clothes that had no value to me, and I would deep clean the store, come back to the house smelling like raw sewage. So yeah, I'm clearly going to take all these clothes off, put on something else because I don't want that in my car, take my stuff out of the trunk, immediately put it in the washer and dryer because I don't want that funk in my house, and I'm going to immediately make my way to a shower so that I can take me a shower because I don't want the after smell of me deep cleaning the store to be on me. Now, true to life story. But if you're going to turn around and accuse him of cheating, why did you marry him in the first place? What if he's honest to God not doing anything wrong? But your insecurities, because you know you're not doing well enough as a wife, your insecurities are leading you to believe that he is being unfaithful. You can paint the picture however you want, but until you catch him in the act, which is why a lot of women will go and get private investigators and all this other shit, until you catch him in the act, you don't have any definitive proof that he's cheating. You're just building resentment against him because you believe that he has the capabilities to cheat because you are aware that the intimacy is not in your relationship the way it's supposed to be, the way you know it's supposed to be. And you're justifying it because of postpartum after the baby. All women are doing that. A lot of women are forever making an excuse about why they're no longer interested in a man. Just tell them straight up, look, man, after he knocked me up, I ain't want to have nothing to do with his junk for a minute because I just didn't feel like having another kid. I just know that if we throw around in these sheets long enough, I'm gonna end up with another child, and I don't even want to deal with the first child. Just tell the truth. You feel me? But that's not what most of the time we got. No, it's bipolar disorder. No, it's postpartum. No, it's some type of depression. No, you just didn't feel like it. You just wasn't in the mood. You was annoyed. The child won't shut the fuck up. Your husband won't shut the fuck up. One's on one titty and the other one's on the other titty. You ain't got no peace of mind. You want both of them to leave you the fuck alone, but you can't leave the child with him because you don't trust him to take the child and do nothing. So you got to keep the child. You don't get no rest, but then you got to take your ass to work. You tired of working, tired of just tell the truth. And as a result, your stress, your frustration, and all of this extra responsibility with the double shift, being a stay-at-home mom and a working woman, you did not have it in you to give him the intimacy that you know that he deserves as your husband. And once you tell the truth, you recognize, well, all potential hypothetical affairs aside, if I factor in a way to give my husband the intimacy that he deserves in this relationship, then I would not expect him to cheat on me anymore, if he is even cheating on me, right? Now, that's the logic that you go about with that situation, but that's not what people say. This is vengeance. It's vengeance. He betrayed me because his air tag didn't move for 45 minutes. Let's be real. Women can cheat just as easily as men, but women can cheat easier than men can cheat. Men, it takes work. A woman can literally walk out of the house today and come back pregnant tomorrow. A man has to put in work. So if your man was able to spend that much time away from the house looking for what he doesn't have at home, you were really fucking up. Now, I'm saying this 2 hours after I just finished saying with the woman that was on the phone with the other dude out of town that the man was not paying attention to his woman because the emotional attention that she wasn't getting from her husband, she was getting from this other dude in Turkey. It's the same dynamic. If you don't pay attention to your relationship, you're fucking up your relationship. If your partner walks out on the relationship, be it emotionally, like the woman did with the Turkey guy, or physically, as you're accusing the husband of doing right now, either way, the person being cheated on contributed to the outcome because you abandoned your partner physically and or emotionally, and they found that somewhere else. It is always going to be that way. If you don't do what you're supposed to do in your relationship, your partner is going to use self-preservation, which means I'm going to get mine from somewhere. You may not like how I go about doing it, but I'm going to get mine. Self-preservation, if you can't earn it, you steal it. Self-preservation, if I can't win it fairly, I will cheat to get it. But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Self-preservation. So, to prevent your partner from being in a position where he or she feels like they have to step outside of their relationship, you put every effort into making sure that you give them everything that you know they deserve. Give them more than what you think they deserve. That way you know that you're giving them enough. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure. And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, ladies, turn that damn GPS tracker shit off. If you are not using that for an emergency, help, I don't know where I'm at, come get me, don't use it. If you're just using it to see where he's at, to see if he's lying to you, turn that shit off. Turn that shit the fuck off. Because truthfully, if you're not gonna Batman your ass over there the way he had to go help him in the middle of a scuffle, you don't need to know where the fuck he's at. He needs to know where you are so that he can come and get shot on your behalf. So that he can come and get jumped on your behalf. So that he can come and get curb stomped on your behalf. He need to know where you're at because he is supposed to protect you. You ain't protecting him. You don't even know where the fuck he's at. He need to bring you back your damn money, right? He need to go out there and go do what he got to do to make his money, and then come back and take care of you and the kid. So take the time from damn GPS trackers. That's that bullshit. Because you're gonna say in a relationship that it's gonna give you peace of mind. But all it is doing, it is triggering your insecurities because you don't trust him, but you're willing to marry him. You're willing to have a baby for him, but you don't trust him. And whenever he goes somewhere and doesn't tell you about it, whenever he gets involved in something and doesn't tell you about it, you have even less trust. But you don't have transparency because whenever he says something, there's judgment, resentment, and retaliation. So he doesn't tell you a lot of things because he doesn't want you to know, because he doesn't want to lose you, but he doesn't want to be cussed out by you either. Now you're stalking. He might want to just go fishing with the homies, but he ain't going to tell you that. He going to leave his phone, get in somebody else's car, go down the street, and go fishing. He's on one side of town, his phone is on the other. That's the issue. But like he said, no, I ain't texting me. He said, I'm down the street, 15 minutes away and coming back. Okay? If he's on his way back, he's on his way back. He could have stopped by a homeboy house, standing outside talking for 45 minutes about something good. Could have been talking about John Cena's retirement. Could have been talking about Batista's retirement. Could have been talking about Brock Lesnar's retirement. Could have been talking about Randy Orton's retirement. You know what I mean? We could have just been sitting there talking about everybody who's retiring out of WWE and just an hour and a half. This was supposed to be a 10-minute pull up and hey, what's going on, and turned into like a whole legacy talk, right? I'm still 15 minutes away, even though I ain't moved in the last hour. I'm still 15 minutes away. Okay, doesn't mean he lying. It just means that he ain't moved. He could be over there playing Fight Night. He could be over there, getting on that new GTA 6, right? But because you're not there with him, you're uncomfortable. Emotional intelligence, ladies, requires y'all to not give a fuck where he's at and what he's doing. That's what emotional intelligence is going to require, right? Because you're not doing it to protect him. You're doing it because you're insecure. A man tells you don't go somewhere because he's trying to protect you. A man tells you to come back at a certain time because he's trying to protect you. He's telling you not to wear certain outfits because he's trying to protect you. You just seen with what 5 or 7 guys was forcing Donald Trump to the ground to keep him from getting shot at. You've seen how 2 men walked up on stage just the other day and grabbed Vance by both of his blazer jackets and picked him up out the chair by his coat and carried him out of the room like a fucking puppet. They just picked him up by his coat and just took him out of the room. And these are grown-ass men being snatched up by grown-ass men. Don't answer no questions. Just get up and let's go. Come on, let's go. Right? Billionaires. Now let your husband, no, hold on. Let your husband grab you by the hand. Come on, let's go, baby. You telling me what to do. I go wherever I want. Do you see the problem? Protectors are supposed to protect and providers are supposed to provide, and you want your man to be a protector and a provider. So that means that you're supposed to be in which position? Not the leadership position. Because you can't be protected if you're taking charge. You can't be provided for if you're the one doing all of the, you know what I mean? So you got to think about what kind of lifestyle that you want. Then you got to think about how you're going to accomplish that. And then if you want a leader, you have to complement that. Not just compliment the person. You have to complement that, because if you want a good leader, you must be a good follower. Now, you want to be in control. You want a good follower. Plain and simple. You can be a leader. You can lead your household, and he can follow your lead to the last breath. Wherever you go, he'll follow like a lost dog. The difference is, as long as you respect him, you can be in charge as long as you respect him. When you stop respecting him because he's not in charge, you fucked up, because you took away his ability to be in charge. So that's all I got for you guys for tonight. Almost hit our normal. So we've got a couple things. Like I said, we're going to be talking about what happened with everybody being shot at over the last week. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the Strait. We're talking about Russia and China moving money around, well, moving oil around in different ways. Then we're going to be talking about on Tuesday the dividend rotation strategy for May and June, and we're going to be seeing that information going into the membership. We're also going to be talking about I got a couple of countries up there. And I forgot, I talked about them at the top of the show, and I can't think about them right now. Hold on a second. We were looking at, dang, come on now. Nicaragua, that's one of the countries we're going to be talking about coming soon. And Guatemala. Guatemala is this week, and Nicaragua is next week. That's what we're going to be doing as far as our Wednesday. So we got a decent lineup coming up, and we're going to be having a lot more spread out for the rest of the month. So I want to make sure that you guys stay tuned to that. On my way out, I'm going to start off by saying, ladies, as long as the situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking ladies to make it make sense. So ladies, please make it make sense. Fellas, I give y'all this information to make y'all higher value men. Not just financially, but also with your decision-making skills. When you find the things that are inside of your control, that you don't like, and you proactively put forth the effort to change that, you start seeing improvements in your life, which gives you the capabilities to navigate around the things in your life that you can't control. Ladies, while this is a male-driven podcast from a male's perspective, you too can make yourselves higher value women by prioritizing your 20 to 30 year plan, figuring out what you need and what you got to do in order to get to your 20 or 30 year plan, and then reverse engineer that to what needs to be done today. If you find yourself in a position where you keep your eyes and ears open on the personality, the characteristics, the drive, the ambition, the integrity, the motivation of the man that you're communicating with, you can find a partner that can partner with your goals and dreams and infuse them with their goals and dreams, and y'all can work on each other's goals and dreams together, where y'all can become successful together, right? And I tell you guys this because it's very important, because if you find the right person with the right decision-making skills, and you've got the right decision-making skills, and you guys have the similar financial plans, then y'all can expand towards success, right? Which is hard in a lot of situations, because if you have somebody that's wasteful, you're not going to be able to make it where you're trying to go. But if you have the right person, you guys put your heads together, you guys work together. Two people can live off of one and a half income or one income, and invest the rest of that money and make yourselves millionaires within 10 to 20 years. Two people can get to $1 million faster than one, but you guys have to be responsible about getting what you need versus lifestyle creep and getting what you want to keep up with your friends and other people, keeping up with social media so that you can show off and make it seem like you've got more than what you actually need. If you've got more physical assets than you have capital in the bank, then you are fucking broke. You need to have far more capital than the appraisal value of all of the shit in your house, including the cars in your driveway, cell phones and bills and everything to that effect. When you have more stuff to pay for, then you have money coming in. When you have more stuff that has to be sold to turn a profit at a depreciated value than what you've got money coming in, you're not making enough money, you're buying too much stuff. Okay? You want to change your mentality to, I'm not working on getting that until I have 10 times more than that in a account somewhere, whether it's a brokerage account, whether it's a real estate portfolio, gold, silver, platinum, uranium, whatever the case may be. That whatever, if I want a G-Wagon and the G-Wagon costs 100 grand, I'm not getting it until I see myself with 500 grand or $1 million. Then I'll go and grab that. If I want a Resvani tank top of the line is $500,000. If I'm going to get a Resvani tank at $500,000, I'm not going to touch it until I see $10 million. At least $5 million. Why? If I've got 10 times more than the value of that item, I can buy it cash up front with the money off of the dividends from the brokerage account. I can buy it with cash up front off the profit, and it'll turn out to be a tax deduction, right? But if I've got to take my life savings and put down as the 10% down payment on that shit, where now I'm paying $1,000 a month for the next 7 to 10 years, it's a waste of fucking money. Okay? I want y'all to think about that. Now, with that being said, I want to thank you guys for coming to This and That. I'm your host, Xander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And I will see you guys tomorrow night.
Higher ground! Used to chase validation, now I validate myself. work is my net worth. Choose your company wise. Surround yourself with eagles, not with sheep in disguise. Every interaction is a reflection of my brand. Quality over quantity, that's my personal command. I'm not landing on higher ground where excellence is found. My potential knows no bounds, raising the bar, breaking ground. I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never I'm not just living, I'm manifesting my vision, cutting through limitations with surgical precision. My expectations are my compass, my respect is my shield to mediocrity and chaos. I will never yield.